today we have a short presentation, but during this time I'm going to teach several principles that are guaranteed. That is, if you imbibe these principles for your book distribution, then you will never fail. And we'll give you your money back if it doesn't work out. That is, if you use this system that I'm about to impart to you and you can't sell a book, I'll pay for every one that you don't distribute. Just make a tally and send it to me. I'll send you direct deposit. Okay?
Okay.
Say yes.
Okay.
So, books are beloved in human society. If you've ever noticed, if somebody hands you a book, it's not so easy to dispose of it if you're not even going to read it. No matter what book it is, because we have a chit shakti, an attraction for knowledge. I know I have more books than I should, because I have this sense every time I see the boxes of books that I have, that someday I'll be able to read and absorb it. And humans generally have that inclination to want to know more, to investigate what's inside the earth, what's beyond what they can see, their eye in space and so forth. Because it's our nature. We've been given this potency. We have a capacity as humans. And therefore, when we take books out into human society, it's a dignified activity. Oh, look. Speaking of which, these are some recent photos from when we first landed here in London. And going out as a group is fun. You can meet together and in a well-organized fashion, go around and meet people. You can go door to door, which we're doing here. You can also meet people in their shops, which is just like door to door at houses, except you know they're home and you know they have money. And this is downtown Watford. And we had a group of over 100 devotees there. This young woman on the right-hand side was ebullient. She was eager to take a book, said she wasn't able to give a donation. But later she came back, gave something, searched me out just to give a donation. But because her countenance was so bright and she was appreciating the devotees so much, I didn't want to tax her too much. And it was the right thing to do. So you have to make decisions sometimes. Remember, I handed those two guys a packet of books. They only gave £1 the other day. But it all comes out in the wash because other people gave way more than that. But we're not going out to collect money, really. We're going out for our own purification, first and foremost. It's a high sādhana to go out into the great unknown and present the Vedic literatures to people. And it's also something that they really appreciate too, because frankly, life is really boring in the material world. Same things happen all the time, and people are sick and tired of it. And they're waiting for devotees to come door to door. In fact, Prabhupada wrote in his poem, Vṛndāvane Bhajan, before he came to America, that people are sitting in their homes and they're looking out the window down the road and they're wondering, when are Nitāi and Gaurāṅga going to come and save me? Did you know that that's what they're doing in their houses? That's what they're doing. So try going and knocking. Here's the group. Watford rocks, right? Say yes.
Yes.
And here's some of the kids. And look at the guy back there. Even his cat wanted to get involved. This lady saw the kids outside, and one of the young boys had a box of cookies we were giving out along with the books. And when she peeked out, she thought maybe he was collecting cookies. So she came out with a huge handful of candy and put it in the box just for starters, but then she bought a book also. Very pleasant person, you see. We go out to meet the people who are open. We don't have to interact. In fact, we're enjoined by Shastra to not engage with people who are uninterested. Do you feel better? I'm going to save you a lot of time when I show you the principles, and you can thank me later. This is a sharing session we had after we had been at Watford for a couple hours distributing books, and everybody had something to share from the experience of going out into the great unknown known as the public and meeting people. You know what it's like? It's like churning the milk ocean. Remember what happened then? Say yes. Otherwise, see me afterwards and I'll have a Bhagavatam set for you. You churn the ocean and great gifts come out. Of course, there's a little halla halla that starts off the process. That's an extra photo in the deck, you know that? So everybody can join and have fun. And this fellow in the back, he was on his way out for the Sabbath, I think. They were going to have dinner, Passover. It's a Jewish neighborhood. I can't guarantee that he was Jewish, but he was very nice and so appreciative that we had come by the door. Here's a little meeting afterwards, talking about the book distribution. We all got together and had kirtan and discussed what it was like to be out there. And you get fresh realizations when you go out. When you stay in, you can have realizations also, but going out, it exposes you to a world of the unknown, and there's a way in which you take more shelter of Krishna, and then you see how the world's working when you go outside on book distribution. And along with Harinam, it's unbeatable. If you have Harinam and book distribution at the same time, here's what we felt like. We felt like in Watford, we were enveloped by a bubble of transcendence. You know how we could tell? Because when they stopped chanting to join the group for sharing reflections, the atmosphere went flat again. And then we realized that the holy name is so accommodating and protective. So this is life. This is what real life looks like. Harinam, book distribution, opportunities to meet people and teach about Krishna consciousness. One of the ways Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you can endear yourself to him immediately just by taking courage and going out into the public to offer. Now, if you don't have courage and it's a little scary to go out, is that the case with anybody? Okay, 1, only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can put my hand up too. Every time I go out, I have to screw up my courage to go out there. But I'll teach you a trick so you never have to worry or feel afraid at all to go out to distribute books. Would you like that? Yes. But not very much, right? All right, okay. So put your hand behind your head and feel back there. You didn't know there's a little switch. And when you flip the switch, you turn from a human. Humans worry all the time. That's all they do. And then you flip the switch, and then you become an automaton, a robot, an AI robot. And you have no more feelings. Are you ready to switch off your feelings? On 3. 1, 2, 3, switch. How do you feel? Better, right? So that's what you do. You just switch them off. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, don't worry. Just be an instrument. It's not your result anyway. Just go and be accommodating and do your duty, and you don't have to worry about at all. More door to door. More. And Prabhupada wrote the purposes for ISKCON. Strategically at the end, there's the 7th purpose, which says that by the activity of distributing books, we would achieve the aforementioned purposes. It's profound, isn't it? By distributing books, he has an aim to achieve the aforementioned. That's how he set up his society. It's based on books. And he also asked us to do it all over the world in every language. We haven't reached that threshold yet of every language. Sampradaya means the complete gift. It's good work if you can get it, isn't it? To spend your life giving the best gift you possibly can. Thank you. And I would like to give you a quiz now. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm not convinced, but I'll do it anyway. Who's that? That's not the quiz yet. What's anachronistic about this picture? Okay, he's holding a book. So what's wrong with that? There's no printing shops. It's Vedic literature, but there was no printing shops at the beginning of creation. But somebody yesterday said, because there was nobody to distribute it to. I never heard that answer. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's because our sampradaya is called the sampradaya of the book. Okay, now comes the quiz, and you got to help me out. The answer is one syllable. It's either book or books. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's practice. Say book.
Book.
A little more gusto. Book.
Book.
Yeah, that's good. That's military. Now say books.
Books.
Good. Okay, here we go. Who's this? What's he writing?
Books.
All right, you can use the particle A if you need to. A book. Okay, who is that? Well, what's he holding in his hand? Yes, very good. Srila Rupa Goswami, what's he kneeling before? Correct. How about, who's this? What's he writing? Correct. Who are these saints? What are they famous for? Correct. No verbs, just book. Or a book. Particles okay. Shila, who's this? Just gave it away. What's he posing with?
Books.
Very good. We're getting a rhythm going. Who's that? Now I just noticed this about the picture, but I'm seeing something in the background. What do you see?
Books.
Aha. And who's this? Oh, I see. I've never seen this before. What's he posing with? 100%. 160 on your SAT. I don't know what you get over here, but that's a lot. Okay. Books are containers. Paper, ink, cardboard holding it together, but what's inside? Ideas. Idea seeds. They go out into the world, into people's hearts, and they grow. And it's one of the ways in which we inculcate ideologies into society, and they stick. In fact, the best-selling book still in history per capita of all time, still holds the record, is this book called Common Sense. If you want to read some good writing, that's it. Written by Thomas Paine. You know what the result of that was? I'll give you a hint. It was sold in the colonies. The American Revolution. People rose up after they read the book, and then they started a new country. But because of this. Sorry to bring it up here in the UK, but it has to be done. And who here has a copy of this book? One. Anybody else? Do you have it with you in your purse? Is it at home? On your shelf? And one person. Have you read it? Has anybody else here read this book ever? Yeah. Okay. And what about the rest of you? Have you ever heard of evolution? Yes. Yeah, that's ubiquitous. Everyone has heard of evolution, but out of the whole group here, only a couple. Was it for academic reasons? Okay. So most people never read this book. Only a few people in college who had to for certain subjects. But everybody knows about evolution. How do they know it? Because somebody wrote a book. And it got distributed. The idea seeds went out. They started to grow. And there they are in society. This is one of the ways, a strategy in which one can bring a new ideology or alter the way people feel about life economically or philosophically, is to distribute books. It's a sound process. So we've gone from historically writing books on leaves like this, palm leaves, and then there's people wrote on shells and walls and so forth. And then came along the high technology. This is not the first printing press at all. First one was called the Gutenberg press by a person named Gutenberg. And he wanted to accelerate the distribution of Bibles in the world. Still, some of those original Gutenberg Bibles, even though they're hundreds of years old, are available in Southern California. You can see the originals. But it was the first time mass producing books. And then the Royal Bible Society. You like all this history?
Yes.
Okay. The Royal Bible Society, and you know where that's from, because it says Royal. Bible Society came up with even better technology, and they started mass producing Bibles. And the effect was a precipitous rise in Christianity around the world, wherever the Bible was distributed. This picture is a picture of the same printing press that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur purchased for his mutt in Calcutta. And he had several of them. You know where it's from? Cleveland, Ohio. That's in America. He had them shipped all the way to Calcutta so he could print books. Haribo! Prabhupada really liked book distribution because his spiritual master liked it, and he took it up as his life and soul, in case you haven't noticed. And now, here's where I'm going to save you a lot of time and trouble. So this is a time, if you want to be alert, this is a good time for it. This is called the ripe fruit principle. What's it called?
Ripe fruit principle.
Ripe fruit principle says, when you go to teach Krishna consciousness and especially distribute books, you're more selective than you are trying to convince people. Don't waste your time trying to convince people when you can just select people who are already ready to take a book. Now, when you go to pick fruits, which ones do you pick?
The ripe one.
And what about the unripe ones?
Leave them there.
Thank you. You leave them on the tree. Don't break the branch and drag it along the street. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you ready for a quiz?
Yes.
You meet somebody and they're not interested. When you wave to them, they indicate their displeasure for you even being alive. So, A, follow them to their car, get their license plate, and make sure you go to their house afterwards and knock on the door. B, snarl at them as they go by. Or C, just give an innocuous gesture, thank them and move on, maybe smile, but don't provoke them any further. Who's for A? Follow to the car. Who's for B? Snarl. C? All right. 50 points for everybody. You can cash it in later at the book table. Okay, the ripe fruit scale, you'll notice that there is a way to see the phases of fruit evolution, and in a similar way, there's a way you can judge people too. So there's an index on the human apparatus called the human body, and it's the face. So you can look right at somebody's face, and then when you try to get their attention, first of all, if you can't get their attention, it means they're not interested. So that helps, doesn't it? So what do? Follow them? You just let them go, right? That's where I'm saving you some time. So here on the scale, when you get to 5, that's supposed to be a half smile. If somebody's at a 5, they're not quite ready yet, because they smile with no teeth. Now watch me, and somebody say hi to me. How do you like that? How do you feel?
Not very much.
You don't like it? I don't like it either. Now try. Can you see my teeth? Yeah. That means when the mouth opens enough so you can see the teeth, they're going to 5.1. 5, it's no-go. 5.1, you can see their teeth. That means they're getting up there on the ripe fruit. That's the minimum. So don't go below the minimum, because you're going to waste your time. And yeah, maybe you'll get 1 out of 100, but if you're looking for people who are a little open, and one of the ways to do it is a very powerful gesture, which is common in many places around the world, And it's just to raise your hand and go like this. Try it, but not towards me. Point to somebody in the audience, somebody else. Point. Hi. I see a few ripe fruits out there. I'm getting a couple of responses. Some people are, hey, there's a 8 up there. Now see, even in this audience, a few people didn't wave back. And what is your name? What's your name? Mansi waved very enthusiastically. So who do you think I'd go to first? Mansi. And that's what you do. If you're in Watford and you wave like this, and half the people ignore you, and then some people, they give you and then you see Mansi come in, and she's like, hey, then you've got somebody who's open. So this is what I do. I look for souls who are ready to reciprocate. The other ones enjoined by Shastra, Ishvare tadadineshu bhalisheshu dusatsucha prema maitri kripopeksha ya karoti samadhyamaha. Shastra says, if they're not ripe, let them go. Leave them on the vine, and they'll ripen, because samsaradhavanada loka chanaya karunya ganaganatam. They're being ripened by the intensity of the material world. They'll be ready someday. So pick the right fruits, and I'll give you a visual quiz. If you can pass this, you're ready to go anywhere. Okay, I know there's a little cheat sheet on the right there to give it away, but this is a new person who just happened to meet a devotee for the first time. This is a genuine circumstance. We didn't stage it at all. Ripe or unripe? Ripe. Okay, ready for the next one? How about this guy on the right? Okay, here's your quiz. Ready? Say yes. Yes. Go. Right. Got to go faster. Come on, hurry up. You got to get so good at this that when you see somebody in 1 second, you go unripe, right. And you got that scale in your mind. So it's 5.1, 5.7. There's Mansi coming. And then, and if you're more aware and you're more selective, you're going to feel much happier than trying to convince people who are fanatical. And I read a book about rhetoric, and a person from York University, it's called How to Win an Argument. He talks about talking to fanatics, and then he gives the directive of how to do that, and you turn the page and it just says don't. And that goes for anywhere, any circumstance. Avoid fanatics. So the next one is make me feel special. Would you like to try a little meditation for about 10 seconds? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I can still see you. Now imagine that everyone in this room has a sign around his or her neck that says, make me feel special. You got it? Yes. Okay. When I say 3, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Now turn to somebody and make them feel special. Oh, this is nice. Come on. Make somebody feel special. Good. Thank you. Okay. What's Mansi doing? Did you do it? Of course you did. Okay. All right, that's it. No more. Don't you hate it when people do that to you? Doesn't it feel terrible when somebody makes you feel special? No, Vaisesika Dasa. It doesn't feel terrible. It feels nice, right? Did you look in the mirror this morning, anybody? Only 2 people? Okay. You look in the mirror and you're thinking, oh, what am I wearing, whatever, I hope it looks okay, and somebody walks up and goes, yeah, you look great. And then, how do you feel? Terrible? You feel good, right? Yeah, so same thing. If you walk up to somebody and make them feel special, you notice their hat or their shirt or anything about them, then one of the things I notice about people, which is applicable to anybody who stops, is they look spiritual. Why do they look spiritual? Because they are. Thank you very much, Divina. Are they spiritual? Yeah, they're spirit souls. And this is a little trick for instant self-realization. Has anybody ever told you when you walked out of your apartment or wherever you live, and somebody says, "You look tired"? How did you feel after that? That you look in the mirror, I guess I do look tired, I look terrible. And what if somebody says, "Yeah, you really look bad. I mean, you look terrible"? How do you feel? You get depressed, right? For the next 2 weeks, you ask all your friends, "Do you still like me?" I mean, but here's the trick. If you tell people, and it's not a trick, it's reality. If you say to somebody, "You look spiritual," what happens? They suddenly realize their constitutional position. You'll watch them right in front of you. Everything's recalculating, and they think, "Oh, I came to the material world. I've assumed many bodies since the time immemorial. Somehow or other, I'm in this body. I'm not my body, and I'm a spiritual being." And suddenly become aware of their spiritual nature. I was thinking more seriously about how I could go through all of them systematically. And then I heard this talk where a person was giving this idea about dividing things into smaller tasks. I know you've heard this before, I have too, but it dawned on me that there's a finite number of pages within Prabhupada's books. And therefore, I could divide into smaller parts what I read, and then I could measure it. So we counted all of the pages in Prabhupada's books and we divided it into sections. And I discovered that for all of them, you could calculate the time period, obviously, for how many pages you have to read in order to finish in a certain period. So did you know, for instance, that if you read 8 pages of the Bhagavatam a day, well, let me ask you, how long do you think it would take to finish the whole Bhagavatam? How many pages, if you read the whole, how many pages would you have to read to finish the Bhagavatam in 5 years? I think I just said it again. So I'm laughing. If you read 8 pages a day, you finish in 5 years. If you read 41 pages a day, you finish in 1 year, 3 days under. And how do you feel after you finish the whole Bhagavatam? Much better, much better. And you're going to be 1 year older in 1 year anyway. And it takes an average reader about an hour a day to read 41 pages. So all the Prabhupada's books, so we made this little chart that I used to pass out on a piece of paper, and then we turned it into an app, and now it's available on Android and iOS. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah. And you can just figure out how many you need to read every day, so I highly recommend reading all of Prabhupada's books. Yes?
How many pages there is in a book?
How many pages are there in a book? You can look at the app. I don't have it in my head. But there's a lot. And now, Divyanam Prabhu, it's all you.
So I think His Holiness Swam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj talked about it earlier when we were together about Bhadra. But I just wanted to take a few minutes. Sanket Prabhu, if you can change the slides to Bhadra, that will be great. In 2017, a group of devotees came together in ISKCON, Silicon Valley, and they were brainstorming in which they can try and increase the book distribution of sets of Srila Prabhupada book. And His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, just a few days before, came across this in his daily readings of this beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam from the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 13th verse, which says that if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, if you place the Bhagavatam on a golden throne and you give it as a gift to someone, you go back to the spiritual world. So taking the advantage of this wonderful benediction given by Sukadeva Goswami, Maharaj introduced this verse to the team and everybody jumped onto that idea. A year later, me and my wife were watching an online presentation of ISV where some devotees were presenting this. And I just so much liked the idea that, that was a year I had just taken up my service at Bhaktivedanta Manor, and I thought it would be so nice to do sets of Bhagavatam. So I went to Shruti Dhamma Prabhu, our temple president at the time, and I said, Prabhu, we want to distribute sets of Bhagavatam. So he looked at me and he said, Divyanam, this is a marathon. Once you're in it, you want to be able to go back, so think about it carefully. I said, Prabhu, we are into it, please help us. So he gave us a table at the Janmashtami festival, and it was me, my wife, and Hari Kirtan Prabhu, another wonderful disciple of Radhanath Maharaj, who's now in Pune under the guidance of Radhesham Prabhu, and they're doing thousands of sets of Bhagavatam during this campaign. So then we did 5 sets over the course of 2 days of festival. And then we had His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who came over to the manor I think it was 2018 at the time. And I went straight to Maharaj and I said, Maharaj, as you know, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu has started this campaign and we are trying to get it going. Would you kindly say a few words? And Maharaj said, I'll be very happy. And then Maharaj, half of his class was about Srimad Bhagavatam and encouraging devotees to take part in the campaign. And just that very day, we distributed 65 sets of Bhagavatam. So that was the start of campaign for us, actually, and which is very much the theme of this year. These are some graphs which you can see the progress we have made over the years. 2020 is the year when we had COVID, and our goal that year was to distribute at least 10,000 sets. And with the COVID coming, we all thought we can't do much. But somehow other Krishna made arrangements. Across the world, devotees started online sharing of Krishna consciousness. We started chat sessions, so about 70-80 devotees would dial in every evening to read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita with us. And it's those devotees over the period of time got into the campaign, and collectively we here in UK distributed, I don't have the exact number on top of my head, but you can see from 7,000 or 6,500 during the COVID time, we went straight to 24,000 of Bhagavatam sets at the time. This often reminds me of the remark Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made when, Srila Prabhupada, who was seated at the Ultadanga Junction Road. How many of you have been to Ultadanga Junction Road? Put your hand up. Okay, well, it's a place you must visit. If you had a place to go twice a year, visit Ultadanga Junction both the times. That's how special that place is. So this is where Srila Prabhupada was pulled in by his friend by hand to come up, and he was seated. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him the instruction to go and preach Krishna consciousness in Western world. And at the time, Srila Prabhupada was highly influenced by the movement of Mahatma Gandhi. And he made a remark to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that, we have to wait till we get independent before we talk about preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. Nobody will listen to us. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, this cannot wait. There is an urgency and this needs to go out. And this is the only way people can actually achieve, complete happiness. And that struck with Srila Prabhupada. And to me, that's the evidence that COVID, non-COVID, this movement has to go on. And as a result, we have been making incremental progress year on year. We had slight dip in 2023. And this is the Europe map. We had a slight dip in 2024, but we are looking to rise again. You know why? Anybody why we're looking to rise again? Because we are here, all of you, at the Rise Retreat. That's why we're looking to rise again. So here is the campaign stats for the UK. This year our goal is 1,008 Bhagavatam sets, as Keshav Maharaj said. And every set we distribute is a life changed. Do you agree? Yes or no? Yes. So, and this is what we are preparing for next year. To try and distribute 100,008 Srimad Bhagavatam set across the globe. Imagine what that will do to the world. It's a small number compared to the population of the world, but still there will be a lot more positivity in the world. Prabhupada writes in the preface to the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that this Srimad Bhagavatam will bring about revolution in the world's misdirected civilization. And if there was any time for Bhagavatam to become popular, now is the time. And each one of you who are here, you all have Bhagavatam. If you don't, as we said today, His Grace Gaurāṅga Prabhu, Vaisesika Prabhu, Kripamoya Prabhu, all Prabhupada disciples, Patri Prabhu, they will sign the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam for you. And we have it in English, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, all these languages, we have it available. So please see us and we'll be happy to give you the set. So this year, every year we have a theme for the campaign. This year our theme is to do 2 things. One is to grow in our capacity and first is to advocate. So if you think it's very difficult, you have not done book distribution, but if someone comes to you and say that, these devotees are trying to distribute Bhagavatam, do you think it's a good idea? What would you say? Yes. So just say it is a great idea. That is what we are looking to do, especially from these individuals in our movement, GBC, Temple President, Zonal Supervisor, and all of you. So, and that by just saying that it is a good idea, people will leave with a positive impression in their heart, and they'll be able to fully get involved in the campaign. And that is the reason why Keshav Maharaj suggested that if each one of us did one Bhagavatam set. Do you know when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur discovered the temple in Navadip, the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to build a temple. And do you know how did he collect the donation for building those temples? And how much he collected? Thank you, Gaurāṅga Prabhu. So he went to every door in Navadip town and he did not ask for more. He said, just give me 1 rupee. That is all he asked for. And similarly, we are also asking you, begging you that just help us distribute one set of Bhagavatam. Does anybody have friends and family, relatives here, neighbors? Only 2 people. Do you all live in desert or? So yeah, you all have friends, family, neighbors, so please think of them. They need Bhagavatam. They need the stories of Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. They need some solace. And Bhagavatam gives that solace to everybody. So we want to grow in capacity. These are some of the ways in the community which you can get involved. I'm very happy we have Achyuta Rupa Prabhu from Nottingham here who's helped us with the Harinam. And he came up to me and he said he wants to be on the map of the world. Even if it is few sets, he wants to start distributing Bhagavatam sets. Just straight after the presentation which Keshav Maharaj made this morning. So we have another town on the map in UK which is great. You can give a hand for Nottingham. And finally, I have, Prabhupada said, by engaging in this activity, we can be in Samadhi. So I have some questions for you, very easy answer. Most of them are only one answer, either yes or no. My first question to you is that, do you think for Parikshit Maharaj, when he came to hear the Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, did it change the perspective for him? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think for Srila Prabhupada, when he printed the Srimad Bhagavatam, did he work day and night to transcribe those Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Do you think since Srila Prabhupada came to the West, Bhagavatam has made a difference to the world?
Yes.
Do you think if we continue to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, it can really bring revolution in the world's misdirected civilization?
Yes.
Do you think you can distribute one set of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Great, it was the same amount of yes. Well done, everybody. Great. So on that note, I want to request you, if you don't have a set of Bhagavatam, have one. In fact, if you have one, then count the number of TVs you have in the house. Because His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu says, if you have 2 TVs, you've got to have 2 sets of Bhagavatam. So you need to have the same amount of sets. I have 3 sets of Bhagavatam in my home, one in my daughter's room, one in our living room, one in my office. It's just convenient and easy, and you can pick up where you are rather than... I can sometimes, space out between moving from one location to the other. That's how busy our life is at the moment. But the more Bhagavatams we have around us, the more chances of us reading that is actually. So please help us in this great mission of spreading the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. It was the desire of all our acharyas. It was the desire of Sukadeva Goswami. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given his benediction in Bhagavatam. And it is a great opportunity for us to get involved. So we have these little pledge cards. If you have not had a chance, if you left early for lunch prasadam when Keshav Maharaj made the announcement, you can sign up for a pledge from your community. We are not asking you to distribute the set today. You have 5 months to meditate. And when Srila Prabhupada was first asked by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to spread the movement, Prabhupada writes in a letter that he got that instruction almost 2 or 3 times in his time with his Guru Maharaj. But there was a time when he was thinking and preparing for his life, and he would say that my Guru Maharaj has given me this order, but I don't know how I'm going to do. But he would always meditate, how can I do, how can I do, how can I do? And that can be our meditation for the first 5 months. And Vṛndāvane Chandra Prabhu, a dear friend of ours, he tried something with us last year and it really worked. He asked us each to take a set of Bhagavatam home. Even if somebody did not, if you have, great. He said, take out your Bhagavatam set, put it on the altar or on the table, sit there and chant rounds in front of Srimad Bhagavatam and pray to Bhagavatam that it can help you, take you to another house actually. And that really helped us distribute quite a few sets in the UK. Many of us trial that, and it really works. Because as we know from Keshav Maharaj's mission statement, wisdom that breathes, and that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It's the wisdom which really breathes. So on that note, I'm going to stop here. We have few minutes just for if anybody has any questions or comments they want to ask. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. Can you pass the mic?
Just a quick question. If somebody is completely new, is there any situation where you would wait a while before trying to give Vṛndāvane Bhajan set, or is it just anyone and everyone should have the set in the home, even somebody completely fresh?
Maharaj, would you like to answer?
It's individual. You make that decision based on your assessment of each person. And is there a situation in which, yes, we have noted that when people come along and they're right fruits and they're open, they're just looking for literature to read, they're practically starving. And they give the feast of the Bhagavatam, they do consume them. And it's consequential. Many people who take the full Bhagavatam set in their house transform into devotees very quickly. First of all, it's probably because they're ready anyway, but also because they have facility. And I've seen it. Some of the people I come in contact with regularly, just service providers in my life, who I make sure they've got Bhagavatam sets, I notice that they start reading them. They'll come to their place and there's one volume that's not there, and I say, oh, where's that other volume? Oh no, I'm reading that. And it's better to err on the side of facilitating, and as you know, because you're a book distributor, you have to size up people. So one quick story, when I was going door to door, we were doing Bhagavatam sets in an apartment complex, and an Indian family let us in. And we took the Bhagavatams out of the box and we were showing it to them. And their hesitation was, we don't have a space for it. I said, well, can we just take a look around and see? And we noticed a shelf that was full of bric-a-brac. They had old games and hairbrushes and probably expired bottles of things. And I said, what about this shelf? And they acquiesced. And we took all the stuff, they didn't even need it, we just threw it away. Cleaned the shelf, and we put the Bhagavatams on there, and they fit perfectly. And before we left, they invited over neighbors. They all wanted a picture in front of the Bhagavatam. So at first they were hesitant, then they took it. And many people nowadays, even on campuses, we're seeing that they would take a full set of Bhagavatams. And we stay in touch with them. And those are the people most likely to succeed, is when they get books like that, they take them back home. They have a very powerful influence on people when they take the full set. So there are some circumstances.
Thank you, Prabhu. One last question, and thank you, Prabhu.
Last question.
Hare Krishna. So when Mr. said there's a kind of recommended donation, so how do you go about to tell what's a recommended donation?
Sure.
And in my experience, I feel it's good to have a recommended donation which is not too low, because then people are like, oh, Dr. Neck worth some money, so I'm going to have to read it now. You know, so it's quite good in a way, but how do you approach the person with a recommended donation?
Can you pass me the mic back, Chukishu? Thanks. So Prabhu, in UK, one thing we do very nicely, because it's a global initiative, we come together at the beginning of the campaign and we agree on one price. So it's not, doesn't cause any confusion for devotees or people wanting to buy. So it's £185 for any language which you want to buy. We have around nearly 8 to 9 languages available of Bhagavatam set. And we also have a throne, because the verse talks about the throne, and it's £205 with the throne if they want to take the throne. Now, what we do offer is an opportunity for people who can't even afford, let's say, that money, that they can pay in installments. They can pay £50 and then they can pay £12.50 a month. And a lot of the people we distribute, just I think a few weeks ago on the street, we did a Bhagavatam set. People like students, we meet them and they're happy to take and make a monthly installment of the Bhagavatam sets by doing that. The other thing which really works if you're looking to distribute within your community, and this is especially an idea which is tested and worked in many communities, especially in Pune, in UK, is Radheshyam Prabhu, for example. I think last year, he single-handedly distributed 600 Bhagavatam sets just by going into the homes and installing Bhagavatams in their houses. So that's just one example I can give you, that we offer this free installation ceremony where we go to their home, we do a ceremony, and then we connect them back with a course or something so they can progress into Krishna consciousness life naturally. So if you offer that package, like we offer free audio book of Bhagavatam, we offer Gaurāṅga Darshan Prabhu's 70 series video free, which we have encapsulated all together. Then we offer the PDF copy of book Bhagavat of Keshav Maharaj. And when you offer all these elements to support people, it gives them an encouragement to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And a lot of the times people read Bhagavatam and come back to the Gita, and it's vice versa as well. So I would say in terms of that's the price of the Bhagavatam set, which I feel is not too low and not too high either. And so that's the price for the Bhagavatam. Okay, so these are the pledge cards. If you like to pledge to distribute, if you have not done that during the time when Maharaj Kripamoya Prabhu and Gaurāṅga Prabhu were giving you the gifts, you can still come and collect your bands. The bands are for everybody. It's not that only when you sign the pledge you get the bands. You get the bands because if you don't sign the pledge this year, you'll sign it next year. I'm pretty sure. So have the bands anyway with you, please, because this will remind us of our pledges, either which you have taken or you will take. It says your pledge is your wedge. A wedge is shaped like this. It gives you a sense of purpose, sense of direction to go towards something. And this year we're asking for a small goal by everybody, a personal offering to Prabhupada where you can distribute one set of Bhagavatam. And all these names will be collected together and sent to in Kartik with His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, where he will offer it in a yagya in Govardhan after the readings which he does.
By the way, and you pledged in the other room, and you were so inspired by giving out the room, you can just take yours back out and put a 0 after it, whatever it was. All right.
Okay, should we?
Yes, we should go because
Yeah.
Moises is up next, and we have to start in 1 minute.
That's right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you just here on this side. If you'd like to take the pledge cards and take the gifts, please come and see us. Thanks everybody. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Hare Krishna.